So, for our writing lesson today, we're going to be continuing our work in historical fiction and really becoming stronger writers. What we are learning to do today is we're kind of taking our work of finding text evidence and pushing our thinking to the very next step. So, as fourth grade authors, as you know, I like to call you, it's really important to start using direct quotes, meaning ideas that you're actually just borrowing straight from the author of whatever text you are reading. That way, you can specifically cite or go back to and use the evidence from the read aloud to help support your thinking. So, we're learning to use direct quotes to support a claim you make about a text. So, I'll be reminding you throughout this mini lesson what a claim is. A claim is really just an idea. It can be a thought you have about the book as a whole, it could be an idea you have about a character, but whatever claim you come up with, it's important to support it. This is something that always comes up throughout fourth grade, and when you get to fifth grade and middle school, you're so dependent on, or I should say, the work becomes so dependent on you finding evidence that by the time you get there, it will be a piece of cake. So today, as I explained, I want to teach you that writers work hard to find just right quotations to include in their writing. A passage, so a story, is just right for citing when it provides strong evidence for a claim, making the reader say, "Oh, I see what you mean." So again, if you are able to give an idea or a claim and provide details, it just only makes your thinking more clear and makes more sense to whoever's reading it. So I want to remind you that when you make a claim or state an idea about a text, you can focus on a character or a life lesson or a theme that you found in the text you are reading. Then you use evidence and direct quotes to support it further. So, ways that we can do this. So you're going to see how this process is kind of broken up. So I like to break it up into two parts, and it's kind of like step 1, step 2. So first, you make a claim. And to remind you, a claim is an idea that you have based on the text you read. You can focus on the character and what you think of them, or any idea that you have about the text. So I thought maybe from the last writing lesson, I showed you an example from The Tiger Rising, so I just thought I'd stick with that one. And a claim that I came up with is, I think that dog is a good friend because he is caring. And I just want to be clear, a text can have, you can make more than one claim about a text or have or have as many ideas as you want with a text. But for right now, I just want you choosing one. So I think dog is a good friend because he is caring. And then the second step is connecting it to text evidence. So we've been practicing this with pushing our thinking by saying in the text it says, or for example, or the author states. So you want to connect it to text evidence. But this time you will directly quote, meaning you are using word for word what the author states. And I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. You may remember from when we did this in class, but it's important just to kind of get yourself refreshed and remember. So you must include appropriate quotation marks to show that you are borrowing these words. So let's take a look. So I have two little charts here, and the first one just shows kind of like ways to push our thinking, those sentence starters, very similar to how we can bring a quote into writing. I know it says an essay, but it really just means any type of writing. So if you say something like, in the text it says, and so dog runs. And if you notice, the way we can use quotation marks is in the beginning. So you put those quotation marks around the very first word you're using, and then you end it after the last word that you're writing. So if you are using a sentence, even if it's just part of a sentence, if it's 4 words from the story, but you are taking that and using it from the author, you need to show quotations. And that just means You're showing as a good writer that you're borrowing someone else's words, but you're doing it in the appropriate way. So it's good just to practice using quotation marks and direct quotes because, again, it further supports your claim or idea that you're making, and it just makes your writing stronger. So I just want to go back for a minute to the claim that I was talking about. So in the book Fox, I know it's been a while since we read it, but I think it's a good one that we have really good conversations about when it comes to applying our skills. So the claim I'm making is, I think that dog is a good friend. I could have made any claim. I could have said that Fox is sneaky or Magpie is confused, but I decided to go with, I think that dog is a good friend because he is caring. And I want to show you how I took that claim and I started using direct text evidence along with putting details in my own words. And you might notice the bolded sentence stems or the bolded text using text evidence to connect to my idea. You might see all of that bolded. So again, my claim is, I think that dog is a good friend because he is caring. Dog was able to show his friendship to Magpie through his actions. For example, he saves Magpie, he tends to her burnt wing. For example, dog says, hop on my back. Do you guys notice the quotes? This shows that dog wanted to help Magpie move around since she couldn't due to her broken wing. So I just want to go back to where I said, for example. For example, dog says, hop on my back. So even though that is a simple sentence, that was something I took directly from the text. So I put a quotation mark before the word hop, and then I put the quotation mark at the end of the word back after the exclamation point. And then after I kind of just explained my thinking by pushing my thinking and saying this shows that dog wanted to help Magpie move around since she couldn't due to her broken wing. Another way dog is a good friend is with his feelings. He tries to cheer Magpie up. He runs so that she can feel like she's flying again. In the text, dog says, hold on tight. So there's those quotations again. Then Magpie gets so excited as they begin to run. She yells, fly, dog, fly. Again, I used quotations. So if you were a reader, you can kind of, give the character that I'm describing a voice in your mind as you're reading it. I'm sure you can picture it. You can see exactly what the character is explaining or saying. Just because I'm including those direct quotes, including quotation marks. This makes me so excited. This makes me think about how dog shows loyalty to Magpie. He is such a good friend. So at the end, I kind of just wrapped up my writing by just putting my claim or my ideas in my own words. So I want you guys to realize, just kind of examine here. I made a claim and I was then able to give evidence in my own words and using direct quotes. The direct quotes, I just want to make sure this is clear, do not need to be an entire page. They really shouldn't be. You're really just quoting a sentence or even a couple of words that you would like to use to help show your thinking or support your thinking. Today, you'll be giving that a try when you are elaborating on your own idea, thinking about the text of the bracelet. So to review, what you're going to do is after you kind of reconsider the bracelet, you're going to be thinking about making a claim, come up with an idea. This is kind of like your checklist. Then I went back and I found specific text evidence. I used different ways to add in quotes, and I pushed my thinking. So today, that is the kind of the challenge or the goal I'm putting out there for you. You guys did such an amazing job connecting your thinking by referring to text details in your own words. But today, I want you to take it to that next step by actually pulling out word for word direct quotes from the text. So again, this is a quick reminder, ways to push your thinking. This is giving me the idea that this connects to, and you can simply build in these direct quotes right into your work. So again, when you're, I hope you guys are starting to think about the bracelet and start thinking about any idea you would like to say. You can start thinking about Emmy, you can start thinking about her family. And when you check out the assignment today on Google Classroom, I actually gave you guys some examples of some claims that you can use if you're having a hard time coming up with your own.